right, welcome in to Big Hitters Only. It is Wednesday, December 3rd at 12:09 a.m. Eastern. We just finished watching the UNC Kentucky game in the ACC SEC Challenge. Tar Heels, crazy game. Tar Heels pull away with a 67-64 win. I think that moves UNC to 8-1 with the one loss coming to Michigan State on Thanksgiving. Is that right? Is that
7-1 now.
Is that right? 7-1 now. Georgetown on Sunday, so they were 6-1 in this game. 7-1 now. Thank you, Connor. We got Connor. We got Spenser. BHO wearing the hoodie. BHO 20. Dude, great. Get your Christmas shopping done. I actually had a huge order this week. 20% off with the promo code BHO 20. Sweatshirts, joggers, shirts, polos. Get your dad. Get your uncle. There's some good sweatshirts for the ladies out there. Check out Rhoback. Knock out your Christmas shopping with some UNC gear. Use BHO 20. It really helps us. It pays Connor, who's staying up late to edit this podcast. All right.
Burning the midnight oil, Ross. Let's do it.
That's right. We do appreciate all the work Connor does behind the scenes. I forgot to text Garrett about the graphic. I'll have to do that when y'all are talking. All right, guys. I mean, wild game, kind of like a sloppy game, fun moments of like, this team sucks. Kentucky sucks. UNC can't get a basket, but then like some moments of brilliance down the stretch. I think we start off with Derek Dixon, clearly getting the ball from Hubert and being the point guard down the stretch, and then coming with that huge three, and then following it with just the drive to the basket to give UNC the points they needed to win the game. I mean, he was the difference in those closing minutes. Spenser, what'd you think about kind of what Hubert did with Derek Dixon and what Derek Dixon did to win this game for UNC?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. We've talked before about how we thought Hubert would just kind of go with what's working on any given night. And that was with the bigs, that was with the guards. And that's kind of what happened tonight with Kyan Evans versus Derek Dixon. Like, Evans his shooting stroke was a little off. He didn't play bad necessarily, but he also just didn't really do much. And, Derek Dixon was a great spark. He played some solid minutes in the first half, had a bucket or two, and I think a couple assists probably. And then he played the last 8 minutes, maybe 6 minutes. He played a lot in the closing stretch, and didn't come out of the game. So that was really awesome, and just great to see a young guy like that, really make a huge impact and game-winning plays.
I mean, the balls of a rookie like that to step into that three off the timeout when there was clearly a play. They had some play set that kind of got, Kentucky did something to cancel out the action there, and he just stepped into a three and nailed it. It was the three-pointer first and then the two-pointer, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And then to just drive and do the left-hand layup on the left side. I mean, he reminds me a little bit of Kendall Marshall and how he moves and how he plays. Big guard at 6'4", 6'5". Not super athletic, but kind of can control the pace of the game with how he moves and plays. Connor, what'd you think about Dixon? And what'd you think about Hubert's decision to move away from Kyan, the guy they are paying millions of dollars this year?
I thought it was first on Dixon. I thought it was pretty telling that Hubert, in the last 65 seconds of the game, calls both timeouts, sets a play, and puts the ball in Derek Dixon's hand both times. Those were set like intentional plays he called. It wasn't like a hey, scramble around, Dixon ends up with the ball and makes a play. That was intentional. So I thought that was very telling, and maybe just a product of how the game has gone. As far as Kyan Evans goes, I feel like, props to Hubert for riding the hot hand. He could have put Kyan Evans back in because that's been their starting point guard all year long. That's been the guy that's, pretty much been closing games the majority of the season so far. So props to Hubert for making the right call there. And just moving forward, the best is yet to come with a guy like Derek Dixon. True freshman, got some size, like you said, Ross. I think as we progress throughout this year, especially when Trimble's still out the next few weeks, I think we're going to see a lot of Derek Dixon. I think he's going to play a huge role for this team down the stretch, especially come March.
Yeah, and what was kind of weird is I didn't think Dixon did much up to that point other than just kind of be a steadying force. It wasn't he wasn't
which this team needs.
Yeah, but he wasn't a scoring hot hand. but Kyan wasn't doing anything. Like Kyan just like disappears. Let's pull some stats here.
He only played
2
16
points,
minutes tonight. I know
16
he had
minutes on the
early
day.
foul trouble.
Yeah, he had foul trouble in the first half, was pulled, and I think he only had like 7 or 8 minutes in the first half, and then it was just kind of leaning on Derek Dixon. Yeah, Derek Dixon finished with 9 points, 3 for 8. 2 of those field goals coming in the last 2 minutes, 2 for 2 from the free throw line, and really saving Bogavat, who missed the front end of a 1-and-1 down the stretch twice. It did hit a clutch 3, a huge 3. And I think it was the lead. Third to last to give UNC the lead. That was massive, but also missing the front end of the 1-and-1s. All right, Connor, take us where you want to take it. What's something that really stood out to you about this game? I'm still trying to get Garrett the graphic here. Take it. You're a host. Yeah. Guide us.
Yeah, I got to get this off. It's just fun to watch Carolina basketball again. Honestly, just take a step back, just from a broad standpoint. I'm having fun watching this team play basketball and competing in these games. I'm sure a lot of people that watched the broadcast saw this is their first ranked road win since March of 24 against Duke. It's over a full season. It's a season and a half. So Just to see them compete on the road in a big-time game, in a big-time arena like Rupp Arena, and win and not get beat by 15 points, just refreshing. I know we said that after the Kansas win as well, but I'm just having fun watching this team. I think the pieces are there. The best is yet to come. We're 8 games into Caleb Wilson's college career. We are going to get better as a team. So that's what excites me, and hopefully I think probably excites you guys as well, based on our group chat earlier.
Dude, I think the big thing about this game is that UNC stole a win. Things did not go right for UNC in this game until the last, 3 or 4 minutes. I mean, there were some high moments with what Vasar showed, but this was a game that looked like UNC was going to lose based on how they played. At one point they were 4 for 20 from 3. They finished 6 for 20. So yeah, at some point they were 3 for 18 or 4 for whatever. Turnovers, finished with 12 turnovers, super sloppy. I just didn't think the offense was stagnant, and to sneak out of Rupp Arena, obviously it was rocking. It actually did not seem rocking, should have been, but a very road situation for UNC to get a win. It's going to be huge down the stretch. Truly were tested in a variety of ways, and I mean honestly, I think Kentucky kind of they gave this game away. They were bad. I watched the game with shout out Carr Allen and Fisher Park, Greensboro. I mean, they didn't make They didn't make a field goal in for 8 to 9 minutes there down the stretch.
Crazy.
They didn't. UNC gave Kentucky plenty of chances to win it. This Kentucky team is not good without. They're missing a lot of star players, but they couldn't. They looked awful from 3, just jacking up shots, and at times UNC looked the same way. Spencer, what's your kind of broad takeaway on what this win means? What you think kind of happened, and your major takeaways from the victory tonight?
Yeah, big picture, we lose this game, and it is another chapter in the Hubert Davis book of not being able to win a big one. Plain and simple. Lose against Michigan State last week. Really got beat pretty good last week. Carolina didn't have much of a shot in that one from what I saw. And tonight just hung around, did some dirty work, got some rebounds, forced a couple of turnovers. They got lucky and Kentucky missed a bunch of shots. And a win is a win is a win, especially on the road against a ranked opponent. And so I think it's, Hubert Davis and the players themselves would never think in terms of, we got to win this one because, it hasn't worked out like this for me or my team. They would never think in those terms. But from an optics perspective, from the media and from the fan base, those things come up. And so it just would have been another unfortunate kind of instance where a Hubert Davis team didn't win a game, big time game. And so getting the win tonight was huge. It's huge for confidence, not only for a guy like Derek Dixon, but it's huge for just the confidence of the whole team. They went in and they won a dirty game.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta have those. You gotta have those. I mean, that's like a ACC regular season slop game, the first or second week of February that no one cares about. But you gotta know how to win those games.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah, I do think it's worth mentioning. Kentucky was missing arguably 3 starters, 3 rotation guys. Jalen Lowe's their point guard. They looked a little disoriented at times tonight. You could tell they didn't have a guy to really set it up. He averaged like 17, I think, last year at Pitt. They missed, a couple big guys. Quinton's from Arizona State last year, Diabate. But you think you're right, Spencer. Historically, the last few years of Hubert Davis, this is a game Carolina loses. This is a game where we come on this podcast afterwards and we go, what went wrong? How many turnovers down the stretch? Couldn't hit a shot. And the one point I wanted to bring up that I think saved the Heels tonight, offensive rebounding. I think the final number was, 17-8 in favor of Carolina offensive rebounding. Those second chance points from tip outs and, offensive boards, kick out for a 3, reset the possession, whatever it may be, those are statistically the highest percentage of shots you can get off an offensive rebound. So I think that saved Carolina tonight. And I think that's a stark difference from what we saw last year when, Van Allen Lubin was our tallest player at 6'8". So refreshing to see that.
20-8. For offensive rebounds, 41-30 overall. So yeah, I mean it's huge. I think getting extra possessions, the tip outs, the extra chances were huge. I mean to kind of jump on what Spencer said, it is like back-to-back losses, Michigan State, Kentucky. That's horrible. But now it's like, all right, you beat Kansas. You beat Kentucky. And those are just name brand programs. Kentucky on the road is huge. No matter how Kentucky looks moving forward, it's still a name brand big win on the road, which will carry some weight. Kentucky's staring down 5-4 now. They have Gonzaga on Friday, I believe, which is tough. UNC takes on Gonzaga and takes on Georgetown on Sunday. So, I mean, all right, so I thought Hubert called some good plays down the stretch, right? Like, he called timeouts. He got the ball where he wanted to. There were some good looks. Even that play, I'm not sure where it was, but in the closing minutes where Caleb got it in the paint off a Vasar pass and kind of fumbled it out of bounds. Like, that was a good set play. And then whatever Derek Dixon did, like, down the stretch, there were some good plays. The Bogovat's catch and shoot was a design play off a timeout. That was great too. And so he redeemed himself, but I still thought UNC's offense was a little stagnant. I think a lot of it has to do with Seth Trimble, and maybe they figured something out here with Derek Dixon, and maybe they can build on that. But like, the offense just struggles if Vasar's out or if Caleb Wilson's out. Like, you have to have those guys both in to flow. I mean, thank God for Powell and Bogovat's threes. It kind of kept it in it at times when UNC really struggled there. All right, let's go player by player here. I thought Vasar again, an awesome game. He just continues to like live up to expectations and works hard. Shows every game. I feel like he shows something different from his offensive arsenal. He had that baby hook off his left shoulder on the right block. He showed that a little bit. He showed that again today, but also today, kind of just overpowering Kentucky's defenders. He's still not a great rebounder. I talked about it today with my buddy. Like, he's still just like it's weird how he rebounds, but he is. And also when he catches the ball, he like dribbles and like moves it. He like kind of knows the flow of the offense, and when he sees an opportunity to score down the lane off a dribble handoff or off a pick and roll or some down the lane, like, he capitalized on that, and I think he was huge. Quickly, his stats as I stop talking here: 17 points and 10 rebounds, 8 for 12 from the field. I mean, he was UNC's most consistent and best player. Spencer?
I agree with you there. He made some really good plays. He got some very key rebounds down the stretch on defense. Where Kentucky, despite their offensive rebound stat line only being 8, I feel like they were really close to probably having more like 12 or 13 or even 15 offensive rebounds that were snatched away by Henry Vasar and Caleb Wilson. But Vasar did a great job on the boards tonight. You're right in his kind of weird rebounding strategy. He's not a throw his body against you and move you out of the lane type of rebounder, or we've talked about Caleb Wilson just having like a real nose for the ball and just like being at the right place at the right times. Vasar just kind of just gets in there and bungles around and pulls down rebounds because he's 7 feet tall and long, you know? So he did great on that tonight. I mean, his dunks are huge. I think one thing that we can't forget is that the sort of mental aspect and the momentum that dunks do. I mean, if you hit an open layup, like, yeah, it's great, everybody's excited, but you dunk it 4, 5, 6 times a game. Those are huge momentum shifters. And like you think about games at home where that gets the crowd into it, or on the road like happened tonight, a dunk shuts the crowd up versus just a layup. I mean, those are sort of intangibles that make a big difference, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The enthusiasm and energy that Vasar brings after a big play, we saw it 3 or 4 times tonight. Like, that's huge.
Yes.
Like, it builds on what you said with the dunk. Like, he is passionate when he plays, and it shows. And I love that from him. And I think that is also contagious. And I think we missed that last year a little bit. Connor, speak on Vasar or give me another player that you want to talk about.
Feel like I did this last time we were on, guys. It's been, 17 minutes now? We haven't spoken about Caleb Wilson yet. Gotta do it. Look, not the most efficient... excuse me, golly, I had a stroke there. Not the most efficient shooting night for him. 5 for 19 total. Relentless on the glass. Had a hand, tipped every offensive rebound, was on the floor. Every ball that was loose, he had a fingertip on, or he was boxing somebody out, drawing an over-the-back foul. I thought the way he impacted the game without scoring was, for a true freshman 8 games into his college career, so encouraging. What do you have? 12 boards, 6 assists, 2 steals, a block, and just challenged every shot at the rim. And just, like I said, the way he impacted the game on an off shooting night, I could not be more excited about his growth coming forward. So that's why I think Caleb Wilson, even with the off shooting night, arguably the best player. Him and Vasar, I know Dixon down the stretch, but I think Caleb Wilson had just as much of an impact on this game as anybody. And 8 games in his college career, I can't wait till game 30. How he looks, 20 games from now. It's going to be awesome. So that's what I want to get into next.
So
yeah,
the one
he hit
thing
some
about
really difficult shots tonight. Like really difficult shots. Like that turnaround, like Jay Williams on the broadcast was losing his mind over that like turnaround where he wasn't even looking at the basket. He does crazy athletic things, man. It's impressive.
Yeah, I mean, Caleb Wilson was clearly the best player on the floor, I thought. And you touched on exactly what I wanted to say, Spencer. Like, the way he contorts his body on those, it showed its face today, like 3 or 4 instances where he just contorted his body in a certain way, or like the way he shot it was just like, it's a level of athleticism and intuition on how to score the basketball that is not like learned. Like, you're kind of born with some of the stuff he showed. You're referencing like that 360 thing, but there's a couple other ones where like he like moves in a way that doesn't seem natural, but is able to score because he's just so much more athletic than the other people. And conversely to how Vasar rebounds, Wilson like snatches it. Like, he's not big, he's not bulky. He's obviously athletic and has tons of spring and is long, but he goes up and grabs the ball. Whereas I think Vasar doesn't. Like, Vasar just kind of relies on his height, and it doesn't clear a path. He doesn't. He just kind of like just entrusts that he's gonna get it because he's tall. Whereas Caleb just snatches it, and that's like the way you should rebound.
Yeah. And you know what?
Yeah, big
Caleb Wilson,
one-hand rebounds. One hand to the other. Boom.
And Spencer, you can maybe speak on this, or you've experienced this. For the best player on the court to be diving after loose balls like that, to really, truly give a shit every single possession, I feel like a lot of times, if you know you're going to be a top 10 or lottery pick in the NBA, you don't really have to do that. And I could be, blinded by my Carolina fandom here, but a lot of these one-and-dones I've seen in college basketball don't do that a ton. And so to see him, like, truly care about winning and, like, diving on the floor like that, just really refreshing to see.
Yeah,
I think.
I love his hustle. He just seems like a Carolina guy to me, like, plain and simple. He's just one of those guys that that does all the
Tough nut.
Yeah, he's a tough little nut, man. I love this kid. He's such an asset. I hope he goes number one, man. I mean, who knows if that'll happen, but he's such an asset for this team.
Yeah, it's like Spencer's talking like an Adam Lucas column. Just
Yes.
Carolina Blue Glasses just gushing
Hit the
about
pose.
Charles.
Hit the pose. Come on, Spencer. You got to.
All right. Let's talk one more quickly, guys. Go to Rhoback.com. Use promo code BHO20. It truly has helped us a lot. We're able to pay Garrett and Connor a lot more and more regularly because of your purchases there. Do your Christmas shopping. I mean, they have everything: sweatshirts, tons of UNC stuff, but go beyond the UNC stuff. I mean, anything other schools. If you have friends and family that are fans of other schools, shorts, joggers, t-shirts. The polo shirts are great. Great golf gear. They have truly a tons of stuff to buy. That's just an easy gift. Go there and buy your dad, your brother, your uncle, your nephew, your mom, your aunt. Anything easy. BHO20 gets you 20% off. And if you use that, we get a kickback, and it truly helps us. We don't really get paid for doing this. All right, let's get into like concerns, because I think texting with so many people during the game. Obviously, we're high off this win, and the way it ended is awesome. But this team there's clearly a lot of concerns and issues. And we'll get out of here on this. Where to start? I mean, I think Kyan Evans, he just doesn't do much. I don't know what else to say. Like, I kind of forget he's there. Like, he needs to be more aggressive. I'm just going to lay out something. I thought Luka, starting off was kind of non-existent, but redeemed himself with those 3 threes, finishing 3 for 6, being more aggressive. Dude, if you can hit threes, it completely changes the game. It's crazy the impact a 3 can have on the momentum of a run there in the second half. Other than that,
how do you guys feel about when Luka has the ball? How do you guys feel? Because I kind of tense up whenever he drives towards the basket. I'm like, oh my god, he's gonna throw some kind of crazy bounce pass or chuck it up at the rim and beg for a foul. I figured when he came over, 21-year-old, supposed to be a veteran from the team, I thought he'd bring kind of a calming presence, European style ball, and can get to the rim, crafty. Maybe I'm stereotyping here a little bit. I tense up a little bit when he drives to the rim. I don't know. He seems a little out of control. Maybe it's the adjustment to the college game, but I thought he made a few plays that were a little out of control tonight. So if you want me to nitpick on something to improve on, maybe that, and then the dumb fouls as well. We saw him foul out at the end. A couple of those shouldn't have happened.
Yeah, I'd like to see him be a little bit more decisive. Catch it and shoot it. Catch it, ball fake, 1 or 2 dribbles, pass, layup. Just be more decisive. He kind of gets a little shifty, moving side to side versus north-south. I think he's got the skills. So just really kind of just trusting his game, trying to get to the basket, more simple moves, find some open space and let it fly. Just be decisive and play kind of straightforward. Again, he has what it takes. We know he can finish. We know he can shoot. Do those things.
Yeah, maybe he is just a perimeter scorer who can, 1 dribble, 2 dribbles, facilitate a little bit from the perimeter.
Sure.
And knock down open shots within the flow of the offense, and hopefully they run some plays for him, because he was big with those 3 threes. Those were obviously much needed threes, and the form looks great, and he's clutch, and he's shown it in multiple games now. Maybe that's his game, and maybe with Dixon facilitating and Seth Trimble facilitating when he comes back, and Caleb Wilson and Henry Vasar can facilitate a little bit from kind of what they do in that high post, low post. They're both kind of very cerebral basketball players. Maybe we kind of overshot what Luka can do as a driver and a very NBA type creator. I don't know, but
is it the name? The name kind of throws me off. I'm like, oh my god, Luka's on Carolina.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm fine with him scoring 10 points a game. That's what you need from him. You need a couple threes, a couple layups, and That's all we need. We need him to be the third scorer. If Kyan's going to be what Kyan's been, we need Luka to be the third scorer and then get that dribble back, and then it kind of changes the math there. Kyan, I don't know. I mean, I don't think he played enough to even deserve much talking. It's not like he was bad. I think he tries hard on defense, but he came in as this reputation as like a scorer, like off the ball scorer, like a really smooth jumper. So maybe him playing the point guard just is not. It was.
I was going to say, is he more of a two guard in college? It kind of seems like that.
Yeah, I think like if he was ever going to make the NBA, which is probably doubtful, like he would need to play point guard. Maybe he's just a quick and shifty two guard that can play off Derek Dixon now and be the sixth man, and come in and hit mid range jumpers and hit threes. Like that would be awesome if Derek can handle the point guard duties. Spencer, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean he's had some games where he's played better than serviceably at the point guard position. Yeah. He's done a good job of getting the offense into the flow, taking care of the basketball, hitting a couple of shots, doing what you need a point guard to do. Tonight, unfortunately, was not the case. You know, he's maybe a little rattled early from some foul trouble. He's got an athletic guy guarding him. You know, there was a stretch in the second half from, I want to say maybe the 12 or 13 minute mark down to about the 6 minute mark when he came out of the game and didn't come back in, where I felt like we didn't run a play the entire time. Like that's on the point guard. You know, a coach can scream and yell all he wants from the sideline about run this play or run that play. But if there's not that point guard out there setting it up, directing guys, calling plays if the coach isn't saying something, because, you know, coaches don't call a play every single time. You have to trust your point guard to do that. Like, you're just going to run some kind of half-assed freelance. I mean, one thing that is a marked difference between Roy Williams teams and Hubert Davis teams is that those freelance principles are not quite as strong under Hubert Davis. You know, and that's okay. But they're just not as strong. So, you know, it's a more set kind of based action, kind of based offense. And so if there's nobody out there making that happen, things aren't going to go well, and we're just going to be scrambling. So, you know, tonight Derrick Dixon stepped into that role more towards the end of the game and did a good job, and kind of just, you know, had an off night. That's kind of what I think, because he's done some good things. I think he may have just kind of had an off night, man. It does happen.
Going against Kentucky, they have athletes, regardless of how he looks, like they have athletes that are a different level than what he saw at Colorado State. He's a smaller guy. You put a bigger defender on him or a more athletic defender, you're going to get different results. I am going to be very interested to see what happens at the point guard spot in the next couple of weeks. Because benching
Dixon
a guy
definitely earned himself some minutes. No doubt about that. He earned himself some minutes tonight.
Benching a guy can really hurt someone's confidence. And if you do that, you have to handle it in a certain way. Starting's not everything. Like, you could still start Kyan and play Dixon more. Like, there's not like rules to this, you know? So I'll be interested to see what happens. NIL, regardless of what you think, NIL, I think, does change how you approach it. Look at football. Gio Lopez is the $2 million man. They didn't play any freshmen, regardless, like in games that they were definitely going to lose. They just didn't play any freshmen. I don't know if that had to do with NIL or not, but yeah, I'll be interested to see. I mean, Derek Dixon's clearly the point guard of the future. And he has bigger size, probably better defender. He looks better at that point guard role. Maybe Kyan's more of a two guard, which is fine. I also think transition-wise, they look different without Seth Trimble in transition. Everything looks a little bit different without Seth Trimble. So while this is a huge win without him, and like you get that experience for guys like Jonathan Powell and Derek Dixon, like it's going to look different with Seth Trimble in there, hopefully in a good way as he comes back at the end of December. All right, anything else? Jonathan Powell, 2 for 3 from the field. Those are huge threes. Zayden High, look, as much as we hate on Zayden High, he caught the ball and he put it in the basket in the closing 3 or 4 minutes off a Caleb Wilson pass. That was a huge bucket down the stretch. I don't think he hurt UNC in this game. So, hey, look, hey, Zayden, congrats to you. You did not hurt UNC.
I would agree with that. And speaking of, I think you bring up a good point with Jonathan Powell. I think Hubert, especially tonight, kind of realized, all right, these are the guys I can trust off the bench. Jonathan Powell, you're going to be in the rotation for the rest of the year. Derek Dixon, you're going to get 25 minutes a game for the rest of the year. I think you're kind of figuring out which 8 guys are going to be on the court. Now, you bring up Zayden High. I do think the one thing this team is missing is front court depth. Now, will Zayden High develop into that? A lot of the fan base seems to think not. James Brown doesn't seem ready yet. He looks pretty lost out there. I don't know. That's the one. If I had to nitpick one thing with this rotation and this team is front court depth. We'll see if they get it from one of those guys. Maybe Metelkovic can come in off the bench, shout out Blue Steel. But, yeah, that'd be the one nitpick I have with the rotation. Jonathan Powell made a couple big shots. He's a good shooter. I think we'll see a lot of him moving forward.
Hey, if Jonathan Powell can make 2 threes a game, that is all we need from him. Front court depth is clearly an issue. I think, Connor, you missed a couple of podcasts. I mean, that's a huge issue. Vasar cannot play 36 minutes a game every game moving forward. 36 minutes tonight, Zayden High, 4 minutes tonight. I mean, that's just, and everything looks different when Caleb Wilson and him and Vasar are out of the game. So
Vasar only averaged 20 minutes a game at Arizona last year. So, we're playing 36, 37 minutes. It's going to wear on a guy like that. He's taking a beating down low.
I know. And it's just like a lot of body, a lot of weight movement. He's not like a little 6'1" jitterbug. Jaron Stevenson, we haven't mentioned him. Dude, 34 minutes, a quiet 34. But I'll tell you what about Jaron. He's a good defender. He's huge. And he moves his feet. Like, he didn't score much in this game. Sometimes he has more opportunities. He only shot 2 threes. But I think he is just like a great glue guy, a necessary body.
Yes.
I think he's just like, hey, he's your 5th best player, but he's a great 5th best player.
Yeah, I agree. No notes there. He doesn't show up much in the stat sheet unless he gets hot from 3. And boy, if he say 1 out of every 3 games, he could go off for 12 or 14 points. I mean, that would be massive. But I agree. He's a glue guy. He gets a few rebounds here. He plays good defense. Generally takes care of the ball and is, kind of looks for guys and everything, doesn't hold on to it. Plays well in the flow of the offense and everything. So, yeah, agree there.
Awesome. All right, guys, we're in it there. And just for your listening, moving forward with Big Hitters Only, I'm trying to put together a football wrap of the season podcast. I'm trying to do probably 3 interviews over the course of the next week or so and get that out maybe early next week with a couple, like a fan perspective, a journalist who's kind of inside the program, and maybe someone else to kind of get a totality look at what we're dealing with Bill Belichick and UNC football. So stay tuned into that. Guys, we appreciate you listening. UNC defeats Kentucky 67-64 to move to 7-1. Awesome win. I mean, it truly, like Connor said, fun to watch that. The highs, the lows, you're like dying and by every shot. It felt like a March game. Like that round of 32 game. We're like, God, we better win this. We should win this.
This team is getting past the first weekend, Ross. I'm speaking into existence. This team is making it past the first weekend. Got to. Too much talent.
Yeah. All right, Spencer, Connor, appreciate your time. It's time to go to bed. It's 12:42. Big Hitters Only. Rate, review, subscribe. YouTube, Apple, Spotify. And make sure you tell your friends.